Hello everyone, in today's video I am going to discuss about some basic concepts of chemistry that are related to matter and its properties. Firstly, let's discuss about the matter. Whenever scientists do any kind of research, the first thing come into their mind regarding matter is that it's something that occupies space and has its mass. And the terminology for the mass is that we are considering only amount of matter in that object. We call it as a mass. While as in weight, we consider that the measurement of gravitational force along with that mass. For example, if we consider that we have to explain our mass, we are, for example, somebody's weight is 45 kg, that is mass. If we consider that mass along with the gravitational constant, we can call it as weight. So in terminology, as we all are living in the same planet earth, so that's why we neglect the gravitational value whenever we explain our weight to each other. Basically we call it as mass in chemistry point of view rather than weight, as we all are same, belong to same planet, so that's why we use the term weight instead of mass. The next term is in the Q is the properties. Properties basically something, if we talk about any kind of substance, like as for example, if I use my pen, that anything we can explain its characteristics, like as it has blue refill or something, we call it as a properties. Now properties are of two types. First is physical properties and second one is chemical properties. Physical properties are that which you can able to observe or measure without trying to change its composition of matter. For example, if we consider a paper and we cut it into a several pieces, that doesn't mean it's related to its chemical properties, that is physical properties, that its physical chemical composition in to make a paper is not changed during that time if we cut into a several pieces. For example, if we melt the iron, that doesn't mean iron form is changed into some another kind of species. So it is basically a physical form of iron is changed. On the other hand, if we talk about chemical properties, it's basically changed into a new substance. So that's why we call it as a chemical properties. Like as if we want to convert the paper into another form, that we have to burn it. So during after burning it change into a carbon form. So physical changes matter undergoes without changing composition, like as I explained you earlier, that if we divide the paper and turn the paper into several pieces, that doesn't mean its identity gets changed. It remains same as a paper. And chemical changes, it undergo chemical decomposition if we change into one form to another, like as if we add hydrogen into oxygen, it transform or its chemical changes lead to form of water. Next example, in order to find out, get more in depth about the physical or chemical properties, here is some examples. You have to identify whether these are physical or a chemical change. A match is burned. That is considered as a chemical change because the chemical over the matchstick is get burned and it's transformed into a new chemical substance. Iron is melted again, it's a physical change because no composition change will be takes place. Limestone is crushed, like as if you crush the salt, its form doesn't change until or unless you don't do any kind of chemical reaction over it. Limestone is heated. Now when you heat the limestone, it changes into a limestone oxides and give some new product. So it is considered as a chemical change, which is produce lime and carbon dioxide. Antacid tablet is dissolved into a water. It produce a fuzzy substance, that is basically we call it as a carbon dioxide. So it is called as a chemical change. And rubber band is stretch is considered as a physical change because nothing happened to the rubber band when we get stretched to it. Next term is atom. The basic term is atom come from the subdivision of a matter. This is called a limit. Like as for example, if we construct a house, we need a basic building unit, that is brick. Uh, Smaller that unit is, nothing is possible. So in the similar manner, in chemical terminology, if we want to break the matter into several species, if we want to change the matter through chemical reactions, the simplest form it gets in to convert themselves into a atom. Now move to the molecule. Molecule is when two or more atoms combine, it become molecule. So molecules are of several types. We discussed only few. That is, firstly, diatomic molecule. Diatomic molecule means it contains only two atoms in it. Homoatomic molecules means two atoms of similar kind, right? Heteroatomic means two or more atoms of different kind. Like as if we talk about molecule water, here there are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So we call it as heteroatomic molecule. Triatomic molecules which contain three atoms, different or same. If more than three atoms, then we call it as a polyatomic molecule. Let's practice it. Look at it. The examples in A part, the two atoms are same and two atoms are different. More than three, that's why we call the term use polyatomic. But these atoms are different, so we classify it as polyatomic and heteroatomic. B example, look at the B example. All the six atoms, all the seven atoms are same, so that's why we call it as polyatomic and homoatomic, because all the atoms are same. In C type, two atoms are of similar nature, so we call it as a diatomic for two, and they are same, so we call it as a homoatomic. In the similar manner, D, two atoms are same, one is different, we call it as triatomic and heteroatomic. And the E example, both the atoms are different nature, so we call it as a diatomic for two atoms, but they are of similar different nature, so we call it as a heteroatomic. Next is we classify into a flow chart. That is, first is matter. It is made up of mixture or pure substance. Mixture whose proportion of components may vary, because if we call it as if I take example of water, the composition, chemical composition is to be exact 2 is to 1 in order to get the water, but in case of mixture the proportion will be vary. The properties vary with the composition, like as if we dissolve sugar in water and sugar mixture. If we change the consistency, the different kind of consistencies of mixture you can get, right? Can be physically separated into two or more pure substances. With the other methods, we can able to separate these substances in case of mixture. However, we are not able to find out separating substances in pure substance, like as water. Water is considered as a pure substance. If we want to heat the water, it doesn't break themselves into a hydrogen and oxygen again. Now moving to other part, it's a homogeneous matter that has same properties throughout the sample. If that is considered as a homogeneous matter. If the properties will change along with the direction or something, then we call it as heterogeneous. Solution is homogeneous mixture of two or more substances, that we call it as a solution. Now the other terms are coming to a way, that is element. Element is pure substance that consisting of only one kind of atom. If we call it as hydrogen as an element, that means only hydrogen present into that sample. So that we call it as a element. And compound, pure substance consisting of two or more kinds of atoms in the form of heteroatomic molecules. Now, for example, water. Water is considered as a compound because it considers two or more different kinds of atom, hydrogen and oxygen, in order to create a compound. Now we are going to conclude all the substance, all the topic we are studied today. That is, firstly we studied about matter. Matter, anything occupies space and have a mass. Further, matter is divided into two parts: mixture and a pure substance. Mixture are of the two types: homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. The homogeneous mixture is called further as a solution, and pure substances are of two types, that are element or compound. Element like as carbon, oxygen, helium in the periodic table, so we call it as element. And the compound out of from that element. For example, water is made from oxygen atom and hydrogen atom, so we call it as compound, but the composition is fixed. It never changes. In order to get the water, we are not able to change 2:1 ratio, that is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen makes a water. So composition is fixed, that's why we call it as a pure substance. That's all about this topic. Here is I listed reference which I take in order to create this video. Thank you so much.